Hey, in this video I'm comparing the Motorola Moto G Stylus 5G with the Apple iPhone SE, the 2020 version. The Stylus 5G is a very affordable, great budget Android phone with a stock version of Android. Motorola makes some good stuff, quality Android devices at a very affordable prices, and it has a stylus. And it's going against the Apple iPhone SE, the 2020. Currently, at the time of this video, February of 2022, it is the cheapest iPhone that you could get, either on prepaid or brand new. So let's go ahead and compare these. And I think it's kind of obvious of which one is probably going to be for you. So price-wise, the Stylus Moto G, it's going to have all the bells and whistles that you need in a smartphone for Android, and you don't have to spend $1,000, and it has a couple of things up its sleeve. So the first thing is that it has a stylus and it has 5G. These are the things that make it stand out. The iPhone SE is a 4G LTE device only, so it already feels a little bit outdated just because of that. Although 5G doesn't really make it a better device necessarily, but it is nice to have and it's future proof. So the bigger, heavier device is obviously the Moto G, 7.7 ounces. iPhone SE is a very tiny, lightweight device, 5.22 ounces. Build quality different. The stylus is a glass front, plastic frame, plastic back. iPhone SE has a more premium feeling device dating back for a couple of generations with a glass front, glass back, aluminum frame. They both have nano SIM card slots, but the iPhone SE has a built-in eSIM. The Moto G Stylus has a water repellent design. So does the iPhone SE, but it's IP67, dust and water resistance, dunking in water up to 1 meter for 30 minutes. But they're both going to be pretty good with water and splashes here and there. And obviously, I'm going to repeat it a couple of times. The Moto G Stylus has a stylus. This is what really makes it stand out. And price-wise, I forgot to mention that like right out of the gate. Although both of these are budget devices, the Stylus 5G can be found for as cheap as $50 on prepaid on Metro, for example, and other carriers. It could be free on Metro. It could be on Cricket. It could be for like $50. The iPhone SE full price is around $400, but you could get it also in some places for free or $50 or $100 on prepaid. So both of these can be found for very, very low prices. Now for the displays, very, very different here because of the size. Stylus 5G has a 6.8-inch display with 60 Hz refresh rate. iPhone SE, smaller phone, 4.7 inches, also 60 Hz refresh rate. You got a lot more screen real estate on the Stylus 5G, which is great for writing. The iPhone SE obviously has those big bezels, old school, 65% screen to body ratio. Resolution is better, or a little bit better on the Stylus 5G at 1080p. The iPhone SE has that 750 by 1334, which gives you PPI density of 326, which is a little bit lower than the 387 PPI in the Stylus 5G. I'm not too picky on the screen resolution and stuff. I think they're both going to look very, very good. Now for these software, very straightforward here. You got a stock version of Android 11 on the Motorola, and you have the newest version of iOS on the iPhone SE. Doesn't really matter for most people because most of your apps, everyday apps that people use, will be available on both of these platforms. Although the iPhone SE is going to get iOS, and you're going to get certain things like iMessage, FaceTime, AirDrop, and things like that. Just a couple of things that are available on iOS that isn't available on Android, and I'll leave it at that. Chipset wise, you got a Snapdragon 480 5G processor on the Stylus 5G, kind of lower end to mid-range. iPhone SE has a A13 Bionic chip. The more powerful phone is the iPhone SE, but for everyday tasks, you're not going to see a difference. As for storage, the Stylus 5G has 128 built in. iPhone SE has 64 built in. But the Stylus 5G has a micro SD card slot, so you can store a lot more stuff on the Motorola, which is a big win. If you like a lot of local storage, downloading music, downloading offline content like movies, which I do, like on if you have apps like Netflix and Amazon Prime and stuff like that. The RAM doesn't really matter because they're gonna be enough for both of these. It's not, you got 4 gigs on the Android phone with the Motorola, 3 gigs on the iPhone SE. It doesn't really matter. It's all about performance, and you'll be pleased with both of these. Cameras, the Stylus 5G has a great assortment of cameras. 4 cameras, 48 megapixel main, 8 megapixel ultra wide, 5 megapixel macro, 2 megapixel depth. So it has pretty much all the cameras that you need, and these cameras are going to be good in the daytime, but I will tell you it will suffer at nights. The iPhone SE has one single 12 megapixel shooter, and although it's only one camera on the back, it's still one of the best shooters out there in any price range. I still consider it goes up against any other flagship camera. iPhones just make really good cameras for both pictures and video. Stylus 5G shoots in 1080p video, while the SE shoots in 4K. It'll be satisfied. That'll satisfy everybody for the most part, unless you're a picture and camera snob. Selfie cameras, 60 megapixel on the Stylus, 7 megapixels on the iPhone SE. Both shoot in 1080p. Both will look great in the daytime. You have a headphone jack on the Stylus 5G. You got Bluetooth 5.0 at least on both of these, so it doesn't really matter. They're gonna be working with your headphones, your wireless headphones, your smartwatches, your speakers. No real difference there. There's no NFC on the Stylus 5G, so if you make payments and stuff, that'll suck. iPhone SE does have NFC for Apple Pay and for payments. You got USB Type-C for the Stylus 5G Motorola. You got the Lightning port on the iPhone SE. Both have fingerprint readers. The Stylus 5G has it on the back. iPhone SE still has it on the front with the home button. And battery life, very, very, very different here. You got excellent battery life on the Stylus 5G with a 5,000 milliamp battery. iPhone SE has terrible battery life with a small 1,800 milliamp battery. So you got all day battery life on the Motorola. iPhone SE, you definitely have to charge like 2 to 3 times a day to use it all day. But it does have fast charging at 18 watts, which will charge 50% in 30 minutes, which is it makes up a little bit for the small battery. The Stylus 5G, you don't have anything crazy for fast charging or anything like that, but it doesn't matter because it has a big old battery. So, what are my takeaways from both of these devices? Well, the thing is that now in 2022, smartphones have come a long way in the budget category, and I really do not advise anybody getting a flagship device. If you get either of these devices, you will be very, very pleased. They are heavy hitters. You can get them for great pricing, and it goes straight up against these flagships. These phones prove that you do not need a flagship. They get better and better and cheaper every year. They offer you a lot of stuff. And I picked the Moto G Stylus 5G as a great example because it has a stylus with it, and I mean this phone pretty much has everything that a practical person needs. It has a big screen, stock Android, so it's gonna be super fast. It has all the cameras in the back. You got the big screen to work with that stylus, so you could actually, it doesn't have a folding screen, but it does have that extra pen, so you could write notes with and just do a little bit. It's more tactile. There's so many phones out there from Motorola. It's hard to keep track and hard to tell what the differences are. But this is more of a $300, $400 phone. But, the key is getting it on prepaid, on Metro, or on Cricket. And you can get this phone for real, real cheap. Now, when you compare it to the iPhone SE, it's a great comparison because it shows you can get a lot more stuff value-wise on Android. And you don't have to get an iPhone. But what the iPhone SE does do good, it doesn't have 5G. It has a smaller battery, it has a smaller screen, but what it makes up for it is in a great camera, and it has the home button if you like that, if you don't like Face ID. And also it has those basic things that are found on every iPhone that a lot of people tend to gravitate towards, being FaceTime, being iMessage, being AirDrop, iMovie, as pretty much the software type of stuff. And that's where the iPhone SE still carries a lot of weight, even here in 2022. So you got a lot of things to like about both of these devices, but for the everyday person, if you just kind of go over the basics and learn how to use your phone, I really think the Moto G Stylus 5G offers a lot more bang for your buck. Battery life, you know, a lot of practical things. It has a lot of storage. You could add storage. It has the stylus with it. It has the cameras. You know, the big downside I think on Android is probably going to be the camera systems on budget devices. They're gonna suck at night, but in the daytime they're very, 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 very nice. You know, as long as you're not a camera video snob, then I suggest getting a $1,000 flagship or getting an iPhone. But I mean, both of these are the lowest priced phones that offer a lot, everything that you need. But, you know, the Moto 5G Stylus is going to, you know, it's more modern and you get a lot more bang for your buck as long as you do not care about iMessage and FaceTime and all that stuff. So I'll leave it at that, guys. Here in 2022, you got a lot of nice budget choices out there that'll give you a lot of bang for your buck. So let me know what you guys think. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.